First contact. The twin suns of Zircon 9 cast long shadows across the crystalline plains as Lyra Vex peered through her observation scope. Her iridescent scales shimmered in the fading light, a testament to her species' evolution on this harsh yet beautiful world. As the lead scout for the Zirconian Exploration Corps, Lyra had seen her fair share of strange phenomena, but nothing could have prepared her for what she was about to witness. A flash of light in the upper atmosphere caught her attention. At first, she dismissed it as another meteor, common in Zircon 9's turbulent skies. But as the light grew larger and more defined, Lyra's 4 hearts began to race. This was no natural occurrence. It was a ship. An alien ship. Central Command, this is Scout Lyra Vex, she hissed into her communicator, her forked tongue flickering with excitement and apprehension. I have visual confirmation of an unidentified craft entering our atmosphere, requesting immediate backup and instructions. The response came swiftly, tinged with disbelief and urgency. Maintain your position, Scout Vex. Do not engage. Reinforcements are en route. Lyra watched in awe as the ship, sleek, metallic, and utterly foreign in design, descended through the clouds. Its hull gleamed in the dying light of the suns, a stark contrast to the organic architecture of Zirconian vessels. As it touched down on a nearby plateau, Lyra couldn't help but marvel at its grace and precision. For centuries, Zirconians had debated the existence of alien life. Their scientists had scanned the stars, sent probes into the void, and analyzed countless signals. But never had they found concrete proof. Until now. The ship's hull split open, revealing a ramp that extended to the crystalline ground. Lyra's scales rippled with anticipation as she adjusted her scope, focusing on the opening. And then she saw them. They were bipedal, like the Zirconians, but that's where the similarities ended. Instead of scales, they had smooth skin in various shades. Their heads were adorned with fibrous growths, and their eyes, only 2, blinked in the harsh light of Zircon 9. Humans, Lyra whispered to herself, recalling ancient texts that spoke of mythical beings from beyond the stars. Could these really be the legendary humans of old? As the aliens, the humans, began to explore their surroundings, Lyra noticed something peculiar. They moved with a confidence that bordered on recklessness, touching the crystalline formations without hesitation, taking samples, and gesturing excitedly to one another. Didn't they know the dangers that lurked in Zircon 9's beautiful but treacherous landscape? Just as Lyra was about to break protocol and warn the humans, she heard the familiar hum of Zirconian ships approaching. The cavalry had arrived, and with it, the inevitable confrontation between 2 species separated by light years and evolution. The human leader, a tall figure with dark skin and piercing eyes, stepped forward as the Zirconian ships landed. Lyra watched in fascination as the human raised both hands, palms outward, in what she assumed was a gesture of peace. "We come in peace," the human's voice boomed, somehow translated into perfect Zirconian. "I am Captain Ezra Chen of the Earth Alliance. We seek friendship and knowledge." High Counselor Zirex, the de facto leader of the Zirconian people, slithered forward, his scales a mosaic of colors reflecting his conflicting emotions. "I am High Counselor Zirex," he announced, his voice a melodious hiss. "Your presence here is unexpected. How did you find our world?" Captain Chen smiled, a gesture that sent ripples of unease through the Zirconian ranks. Showing teeth was a sign of aggression in their culture. "We've been exploring this sector of space for years," Shen explained. "Your world's unique crystalline composition caught our attention. We come seeking to learn and share knowledge." As the 2 leaders began their cautious dialogue, Lyra couldn't shake the feeling that everything was about to change. The humans' arrival had shattered millennia of isolation, bringing with it the promise of new horizons and the threat of unknown dangers. Over the next few days, a tenuous peace was established. The humans set up a small base camp near their landing site, while Zirconian scientists and diplomats worked tirelessly to understand these strange visitors. Lyra, with her keen observational skills, was assigned as a liaison between the two species. It was during one of her interactions with the humans that Lyra met Lieutenant Jack Harper, a young soldier with a shock of red hair and a perpetual look of wonder on his face. Unlike some of his more reserved colleagues, Jack seemed genuinely fascinated by Zirconian culture and biology. "Your ability to change colors is incredible," Jack marveled as Lyra's scales shifted from deep blue to a shimmering gold. "Is it conscious or involuntary?" Lyra found herself warming to the human's earnest curiosity. "A bit of both," she explained. "We can control it to some extent, but it also reflects our emotions and physical state." As they continued to talk, Lyra realized that despite their alien nature, the humans shared many traits with their own people: curiosity, adaptability, and a drive to explore the unknown. Yet, there were also stark differences that became apparent as the days wore on. The humans' technology, while advanced in many ways, seemed to rely heavily on artificial constructs and energy sources that were foreign to Zirconian science. Their social structures, too, were a mystery, with concepts like democracy and individual rights that challenged Zirconian notions of collective harmony and predetermined roles. But it was the humans' apparent disregard for danger that concerned Lyra the most. Despite warnings about the volatile nature of certain crystal formations, several human researchers insisted on conducting close-range studies. Their recklessness came to a head when a team ventured into the Whispering Caverns, a maze-like system of tunnels known for its disorienting properties and hostile wildlife. Lyra was with Jack when the distress call came in. Without hesitation, the human lieutenant grabbed his gear and prepared to mount a rescue mission. "You can't go in there," Lyra protested. "The caverns are too dangerous. We need to wait for the specialist team." Jack's eyes blazed with determination. "Every second counts," he said. "Those are my people in there. I can't just stand by and do nothing." Against her better judgment, Lyra found herself volunteering to guide Jack through the treacherous caverns. As they ventured deeper into the crystalline labyrinth, the walls seemed to pulse with an eerie light, and whispers echoed from unseen sources. "Stay close," Lyra warned, her scales shifting to a muted gray to blend with their surroundings. "The predators here hunt by sound and movement." They found the research team huddled in a small chamber, surrounded by bioluminescent crystals that pulsed with hypnotic patterns. Two of the humans were injured, caught in a crystal slide that had nearly crushed them. As Lyra and Jack worked to free the trapped researchers, a low growl reverberated through the cavern. Lyra's scales stood on end as she recognized the sound. "Crystal Stalker," she hissed. "We need to move. Now." The rescue quickly turned into a desperate flight through the twisting tunnels. Jack, despite his alien physiology, kept pace with Lyra, helping the injured researchers while keeping a watchful eye for danger. As they neared the exit, the Crystal Stalker, a massive crystalline predator that blended seamlessly with its environment, launched its attack. In that moment of crisis, Lyra witnessed firsthand the human capacity for bravery and quick thinking. Jack, using a combination of his advanced weaponry and improvised tactics, managed to create a distraction that allowed the group to escape. As they emerged from the caverns, battered but alive, Lyra realized that her perception of the humans had fundamentally changed. The incident in the Whispering Caverns marked a turning point in human-Zirconian relations. The humans' bravery and Lyra's willingness to risk her life for them hadn't gone unnoticed. High Counselor Zirex, while still cautious, began to see the potential benefits of a closer alliance with these strange, bold creatures from the stars. As the first phase of the human expedition drew to a close, preparations were made for a formal cultural exchange. Selected Zirconians, including Lyra, would travel to Earth, while a human delegation would remain on Zircon 9 to continue their studies. On the eve of the humans' departure, Lyra found Jack staring up at the alien constellations of her world. "Beautiful, isn't it?" she said, joining him. Jack nodded, a wistful smile on his face. "It's incredible. All my life, I dreamed of moments like this, standing on an alien world, looking up at unfamiliar stars. But I never imagined I'd also find friendship. Lyra's scales rippled with a warm golden hue. Nor did I, she admitted. When your ship first arrived, I thought it heralded the end of everything we knew. Instead, it's the beginning of something wonderful. As they stood there, a human and a Zirconian united in their shared sense of wonder, neither could have predicted the challenges that lay ahead. For beyond the shimmering crystal plains of Zircon 9 and the bustling cities of Earth, ancient forces were stirring, forces that would soon test the fledgling alliance between their peoples and alter the course of galactic history forever. The first contact between humans and Zirconians had been made, bridges of understanding had been built, and the stage was set for an adventure that would span the stars. As Lyra prepared for her journey to Earth, she couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning of a much grander story, one in which the combined strength, ingenuity, and compassion of both species would be put to the ultimate test. The Quantum Nexus Gambit. As Lyra's crystalline transport pod docked with the human starship Celestial Horizon, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was leaving more than just her homeworld behind. The iridescent scales along her spine shimmered with a mix of excitement and apprehension, reflecting the tumultuous emotions within. Captain Ezra Chen stood at the airlock, a welcoming smile on his face. "Welcome aboard, Scout Vex," he said, his translator rendering his words in perfect Zirconian. "I hope you're ready for the adventure of a lifetime." Little did either of them know just how prophetic those words would prove to be. The Celestial Horizon was a marvel of human engineering, a stark contrast to the organic, crystal-based technology of Zircon 9. As Lyra was led through the ship's winding corridors, her four eyes darted from one wonder to another. Holographic displays flickered with streams of data, crew members of various Earth ethnicities worked in harmony, and through the viewports she could see the vast expanse of space stretching out before them. "This will be your quarters for the journey," Lieutenant Jack Harper said, gesturing to a room that had been specially modified to accommodate Zirconian physiology. "We've tried to recreate some of the environmental conditions of your homeworld, but please let us know if you need any adjustments." Lyra slithered into the room, her scales adjusting to match the color scheme. "It's perfect," she hissed appreciatively. "Thank you for your thoughtfulness." As she settled in, a sudden tremor shook the ship. Alarms blared, and the lighting shifted to a pulsing red. Lyra's scales instinctively shifted to a defensive pattern as she rushed out into the corridor. "What's happening?" she asked a passing crew member. "We're not sure," the human replied, her face etched with concern. "Something's interfering with our quantum drive. We're being pulled off course." Lyra followed the flow of crew members to the bridge, where Captain Chen was barking orders in rapid succession. The view screen showed a swirling vortex of energy, unlike anything Lyra had ever seen. "Status report," Chen demanded. The ship's AI, a shimmering blue hologram in the shape of a human female, materialized. "Captain, we've encountered a quantum anomaly. It appears to be a nexus point between multiple realities. Our drive's interaction with it has created a feedback loop. We're being drawn in." Lyra's scientific curiosity overrode her fear. "A quantum nexus, but that's just theoretical." Jack, who had joined them on the bridge, turned to her with a grim smile. "Welcome to space exploration, Lyra, where the theoretical becomes reality whether we're ready for it or not." Captain Chen's voice cut through the chaos. "Options, people. I need options." The ship's chief engineer, a burly woman named Dr. Yuki Tanaka, spoke up. "Captain, if we reverse the polarity of our quantum drive and sync it with the anomaly's frequency, we might be able to ride it out. But what, Doctor?" Chen pressed. "But it could tear the ship apart, and even if it doesn't, there's no telling where or when we might end up." A heavy silence fell over the bridge. Lyra felt the weight of the moment, the lives of everyone aboard hanging in the balance. In that instant, she made a decision that would change the course of her life forever. I might be able to help, she said, her voice steady despite her racing hearts. Zirconian crystal technology. It has properties that allow it to stabilize quantum fluctuations. If we can integrate it with your drive system, it might give us the edge we need. All eyes turned to her. Captain Chen's gaze was intense. Can you do it? Lyra's scales rippled with determination. I can try. What followed was a desperate race against time. As the celestial horizon was buffeted by quantum energies, Lyra worked feverishly alongside Dr. Tanaka and her engineering team. Her knowledge of crystal harmonics, combined with the human's advanced quantum mechanics, led to a hybrid system unlike anything either species had created before. It's ready, Dr. Tanaka shouted over the groaning of stressed metal. But we only have one shot at this. Captain Chen didn't hesitate. Do it. As Dr. Tanaka activated the hybrid drive, Lyra felt a sensation she could only describe as reality itself twisting around them. The ship shuddered, lights flickered, and for a heart-stopping moment, it seemed as if the celestial horizon would be torn apart. Then, with a flash of blinding light and a sound like the universe itself gasping, they were through. Silence fell over the bridge. Slowly, the view screen cleared, revealing a star field that was at once familiar and utterly alien. Where are we? Jack whispered, voicing the question on everyone's mind. The A's hologram flickered back to life, its expression one of awe. Captain, based on stellar cartography, we appear to be in the Andromeda Galaxy. We've traveled over 2.5 million light-years in an instant. The implications were staggering. They had not only survived, but had made the greatest leap in the history of space exploration, and it had been made possible by the combined efforts of humans and a Zirconian. As the initial shock wore off, the bridge erupted in cheers. Lyra found herself enveloped in a hug by Jack, his alien warmth strange but not unwelcome. Captain Chen approached, his face a mix of relief and wonder. Scout Vex, he said formally, on behalf of the crew of the Celestial Horizon and all of humanity, I thank you. Your quick thinking and willingness to share your knowledge may have just changed the course of history. Lyra's scales flushed with a pattern that signified deep emotion in her species. I only did what anyone would have done, she said softly. No, Jack interjected, his eyes shining with admiration. You did something extraordinary. You proved that when our species work together, we can achieve the impossible. As the reality of their situation sank in, new challenges presented themselves. They were in uncharted territory, farther from home than any human or Zirconian had ever been. The quantum nexus that had brought them here was nowhere to be seen, leaving them with no clear way back. But as Lyra looked around at the determined faces of her new companions, she felt a surge of hope. They had already defied the odds once. Together, they would find a way home, and make incredible discoveries along the way. Well, Captain Chen said, a note of excitement creeping into his voice, since we're here, we might as well explore. Helm, set a course for the nearest star system. Let's see what Andromeda has to offer. As the celestial horizon glided forward into the unknown, Lyra realized that this was more than just an adventure. It was the beginning of a new era of cooperation between their species, one that held the promise of unlocking the greatest mysteries of the universe. The quantum nexus gambit had paid off in ways none of them could have imagined, and as Lyra stood among her human colleagues, gazing out at the unexplored wonders of Andromeda, she knew that the true adventure was just beginning. The biopsionic resonance enigma. The celestial horizon glided through the uncharted expanse of the Andromeda Galaxy, its hybrid quantum crystal drive humming with otherworldly energy. Lyra Vex, the Zirconian scout turned unlikely hero, found herself at the heart of humanity's greatest adventure yet. As she gazed out at the alien star systems whizzing by, she couldn't shake the feeling that they were on the cusp of a discovery that would reshape the very fabric of existence. Captain Ezra Chen's voice crackled over the ship-wide comm system. All hands, report to the bridge immediately. We've detected something unprecedented. Lyra slithered quickly through the corridors, her scales shimmering with anticipation. As she entered the bridge, she was met with a sight that made all four of her hearts skip a beat. The main view screen displayed a massive structure floating in the void, a colossal latticework of pulsating energy and crystalline formations that defied conventional physics. "What in the name of the twin suns is that?" Lyra breathed, her forked tongue flicking out in astonishment. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, the ship's chief engineer, was furiously analyzing data streams. "It appears to be some sort of biopsionic resonance matrix," she said, her voice filled with awe. "It's generating energy signatures unlike anything we've ever encountered. It's as if it's alive and thinking, but on a scale we can barely comprehend." Lieutenant Jack Harper, standing beside Lyra, shook his head in disbelief. "A living machine, or a mechanical life form. Either way, it's incredible." Captain Chen turned to face his crew, his eyes blazing with determination. "Ladies, gentlemen, and honored Zirconian guest, we're about to make first contact with an entity that could redefine our understanding of life itself. I need everyone at their best. Dr. Tanaka, can we establish communication?" Before the engineer could respond, the ship shuddered violently. Streams of biopsionic energy lashed out from the cosmic lattice, enveloping the celestial horizon in a web of pulsating light. "Shields at maximum," Chen barked. "Evasive maneuvers." But it was too late. The energy tendrils had already penetrated their defenses, seeping into the ship's systems. Lyra felt a strange tingling sensation coursing through her scales, and she noticed the humans around her shivering as if touched by an unseen force. Suddenly, every screen on the bridge erupted with cascading symbols and equations, flowing faster than the eye could follow. The ship's AI materialized, its holographic form flickering and distorting. "See, Captain," it stuttered, its voice modulating wildly. "The entity is integrating with our systems. It's communicating, but on a level beyond our current capacity to fully comprehend." Lyra's scientific mind raced. She remembered ancient Zirconian legends of cosmic entities that transcended physical form, existing as pure thought and energy. Could this be one of those mythical beings? Acting on instinct, she slithered to the nearest console and placed her scaled hands on the surface. Her species' natural affinity for crystal-based technology, combined with the biopsionic energy now coursing through the ship, created an unexpected bridge. In that moment, Lyra's consciousness expanded beyond the confines of her physical form. She found herself immersed in a sea of pure information, concepts, and realities beyond her wildest imagination. The entity, if it could be called that, was not just communicating. It was sharing the accumulated knowledge of eons, of civilizations long past, and of cosmic truths that defied conventional understanding. "Lyra," Jack's voice seemed to come from a great distance. "What's happening? Are you all right?" With tremendous effort, Lyra pulled herself back to physical reality. Her scales were glowing with an inner light, patterns shifting and swirling in complex fractals. I made contact," she gasped, her voice resonating with newfound power. "It's not just a machine or a life form. It's a cosmic codex, a repository of knowledge left behind by an ancient race called the Precursors. They seeded galaxies with these structures, waiting for species advanced enough to comprehend and utilize their wisdom." Captain Chen approached cautiously, his face a mix of concern and fascination. "What kind of knowledge are we talking about, Scout Vex?" Lyra's eyes gleamed with an otherworldly light. "Everything, Captain. The secrets of faster-than-light travel without the need for quantum drives. The ability to manipulate matter and energy at its most fundamental level. Cures for diseases we haven't even discovered yet. And a warning." The bridge fell silent, tension thick in the air. "A warning about what?" Jack asked, his hand unconsciously moving to his weapon. Lyra's voice took on a grave tone. "The Precursors weren't the only ancient race to achieve cosmic transcendence. There are others out there, beings of unimaginable power who view younger species as little more than playthings or resources to be exploited. The Cosmic Codex was left behind to help prepare us for their eventual return. As if on cue, the ship's long-range sensors began blaring alarms. Dr. Tanaka's fingers flew over her console, her face paling as she interpreted the data. "Captain," she said, her voice barely above a whisper, "we're detecting a massive energy surge at the edge of this star system. Something's coming through, and it's big." The view screen shifted, revealing a sight that sent chills down every spine on the bridge. A colossal vessel, if it could be called that, was materializing in a maelstrom of dark energy. It resembled a writhing mass of tentacles and impossible geometries, defying the laws of physics with every movement. "The Void Harvesters," Lyra hissed, the knowledge imparted by the Cosmic Codex flowing through her. "They're here to consume the biopsionic energy of entire worlds, leaving lifeless husks in their wake." Captain Chen's jaw set in grim determination. "Then we stand and fight. For Earth, for Zircon 9, and for every world that can't defend itself. Dr. Tanaka, how quickly can we integrate this new knowledge into our systems?" The engineer's eyes gleamed with a challenge. "With Lyra's help and the biopsionic boost we've received, we might just be able to even the odds." As the crew of the Celestial Horizon raced to prepare for the battle of their lives, Lyra felt a surge of pride and belonging. Here, on the edge of known space, facing an enemy that threatened all of creation, the boundaries between human and Zirconian had dissolved. They were united in a cause greater than themselves, armed with the legacy of an ancient civilization and the unwavering spirit of exploration that had brought them to this moment. The Void Harvester loomed ever closer, its eldritch form a stark reminder of the cosmic horrors that lurked in the depths of space. But as Lyra looked around at her human companions, she knew that they would face this threat together. The biopsionic resonance enigma had given them the tools they needed, and their combined ingenuity would forge those tools into a weapon capable of safeguarding the future of not just their own species, but of all life in the universe. As Captain Chen gave the order to engage, Laura realized that this was why she had been drawn to the stars, why the humans had come to Zircon 9, and why the Cosmic Codex had chosen to reveal itself now. It was all leading to this moment, a crucible in which the fate of galaxies would be decided. The battle for existence itself was about to begin, and at its heart stood an unlikely alliance of humans and a Zirconian, united in their determination to prove that even in the face of cosmic horror, life would find a way to thrive. The Quantum Entanglement Nexus. As the Void Harvester bore down on the celestial horizon, Captain Ezra Chen's voice rang out with steely determination. "Initiate Protocol Omega. Dr. Tanaka, activate the biopsionic shields." The ship hummed with newfound energy as the knowledge from the Cosmic Codex integrated with their systems. Lyra Vex, her scales now pulsating with ethereal light, interfaced directly with the ship's core, her consciousness expanding to encompass the entirety of the vessel. "Quantum Entanglement Matrix online," Dr. Yuki Tanaka shouted, her fingers dancing across holographic interfaces, preparing to engage the hyperdimensional drive. The Void Harvester unleashed a barrage of dark energy tendrils, each capable of rending a planet asunder. But as they approached the celestial horizon, they met an impenetrable barrier of shimmering biopsionic energy. Lieutenant Jack Harper manned the weapons console, his eyes blazing with focus, firing antimatter lances. Now, beams of pure annihilation lanced out from the celestial horizon, slicing through the Void Harvester's otherworldly defenses. The cosmic monstrosity reeled, its impossible geometries warping in pain and fury. But the battle was far from over. The Void Harvester began to split and multiply, each new form more nightmarish than the last. It was adapting, learning, evolving with each passing moment. "We can't outgun them," Captain Chen realized, his mind racing. "We need to outthink them. Lyra, what else can you glean from the Codex?" Lyra's voice echoed throughout the ship, resonating with the power of ancient knowledge. The precursors spoke of a quantum entanglement nexus, a point in space-time where all realities converge. If we can reach it, we might be able to seal the void harvesters out of our universe permanently. And how exactly do we find this nexus? Jack asked, firing another salvo at the encroaching horrors. Lyra's form shimmered, becoming one with the ship's holographic displays. We don't find it, Lieutenant. We create it. Dr. Tanaka's eyes widened in realization. Of course, if we can generate a sufficiently powerful quantum field and synchronize it with the biopsionic resonance, we can punch a hole in the fabric of reality itself, Chen finished, a grim smile on his face. Do it. What followed was a symphony of science and desperation. As the void harvesters closed in, reality itself began to warp around the celestial horizon. The ship's hybrid crystal quantum drive pulsed with energy beyond mortal comprehension, guided by Lyra's innate connection to the crystalline technology of her people. Space-time buckled and twisted, stars blurring into streaks of light. The crew felt their very atoms vibrating in sympathy with the cosmic forces they were unleashing. Quantum entanglement nexus forming. Dr. Tanaka shouted over the cacophony of alarms and groaning metal. But it's unstable. We need more power. Lyra's consciousness expanded further, touching the minds of every crew member. In that moment of perfect unity, human and Zirconian alike poured their will, their hopes, and their very life force into the ship's systems. With a sound like the birth of a universe, a swirling vortex of pure possibility exploded into being before them. The quantum entanglement nexus, a wound in reality that led to everywhere and everyone at once. Now what? Jack yelled, his hands white-knuckled on the controls. Lyra's voice was calm, filled with the certainty of cosmic truth. Now we dive in. Captain Chen didn't hesitate. All hands, brace for transdimensional shift. Helm, take us in. The celestial horizon plunged into the heart of the nexus, reality fragmenting around them. For an eternal instant, the crew experienced every possible version of themselves across infinite timelines. They were everywhere and everywhen, their consciousness expanded beyond the limits of mortal understanding. And in that moment of transcendent clarity, Lyra saw the solution. With a thought, she guided the ship through the labyrinth of possibilities, seeking the one timeline where victory was assured. The void harvesters, bound by the laws of their own dark dimension, could not follow. They howled in eldritch fury as their prey slipped beyond their grasp. When the celestial horizon emerged from the nexus, they found themselves back in their own reality, but changed. The knowledge and experiences of countless alternate selves had been integrated into their beings. They were no longer merely human or Zirconian, but something more, guardians of reality itself. As the nexus collapsed behind them, sealing the void harvesters out of their universe forever, a stunned silence fell over the bridge. Captain Chen was the first to speak, his voice filled with awe. Did we just save the entire universe? Lyra, her form now a shimmering hologram of pure energy, smiled. This universe, Captain, and countless others. The quantum entanglement nexus didn't just move us through space and time. It allowed us to rewrite the very laws of reality. The void harvesters are now nothing more than a bad dream, a cautionary tale for future generations. As the implications of their victory sank in, the crew of the celestial horizon realized that their journey was far from over. They had been given the power to shape the destiny of galaxies, to guide the evolution of entire civilizations. So, what now? Jack asked, looking to Lyra and Captain Chen. Where do we go from here? Lyra's form shimmered, coalescing into a map of the known universe, and far beyond. Everywhere, Lieutenant. We go everywhere. The Cosmic Codex has shown us that the universe is far vaster and more wondrous than we ever imagined. There are ancient mysteries to unravel, young species to guide, and cosmic wonders to explore. Captain Chen stood tall, his eyes shining with the light of infinite possibilities. Then let's not waste any time. Helm, set a course for the unknown. We've got a universe to discover. As the celestial horizon engaged its new hyperdimensional drive, leaving behind the familiar stars of Andromeda, the crew knew that they were embarking on an adventure beyond imagination. They had faced the darkness at the edge of creation and emerged victorious, forever changed by the experience. Human and Zirconian, united by courage and curiosity, now stood as the vanguard of a new age of cosmic exploration. The quantum entanglement nexus had shown them the infinite potential that lay within themselves and the universe around them. And as they soared into the cosmic unknown, Lyra Vex realized that this was just the beginning. The true adventure, the quest to understand the deepest mysteries of existence itself, was only just beginning. The stars beckoned, and the crew of the Celestial Horizon answered their call, ready to write the next chapter in the grand cosmic story. The chronosynaptic paradigm shift. The Celestial Horizon glided through the cosmic tapestry, its hull shimmering with the residual energy of the quantum entanglement nexus. Captain Ezra Chen stood at the helm, his eyes reflecting the swirling nebulae that stretched out before them. Beside him, Lyra Vex's form flickered between her physical Zirconian body and a being of pure energy, her consciousness now intertwined with the ship's advanced systems. "Captain," Lyra's voice resonated through the bridge. "I'm detecting an anomaly unlike anything we've encountered before. It appears to be a tear in the chronosynaptic fabric of reality." Dr. Yuki Tanaka's fingers danced across her console, her brow furrowed in concentration. "Confirmed. It's emitting tachyon particles and, wait, is that possible? It's generating reverse entropy." Lieutenant Jack Harper leaned forward, his eyes wide with wonder. "In English, Doc." "It means," Captain Chen interjected, his voice grave, "that we're looking at a phenomenon that's not just bending space, but time itself. And it's unraveling the very laws of thermodynamics as we know them." As if on cue, the ship's alarms blared to life. The view screen flickered, showing scenes from across time and space. Ancient civilizations rising and falling in the blink of an eye, stars being born and dying in rapid succession, and realities colliding in a kaleidoscope of possibility. "The chronosynaptic tear is expanding," Lyra announced, her form pulsating with urgency. "If we don't stabilize it, it could cause a cascading failure across multiple timelines. Entire universes could be wiped from existence." Captain Chen's jaw set with determination. "Options, people. How do we close a tear in time itself?" Dr. Tanaka's eyes lit up with inspiration. "The Cosmic Codex. Lyra, is there anything in the precursor's knowledge about dealing with temporal anomalies?" Lyra's consciousness dove deep into the vast repository of cosmic wisdom. Streams of information flowed through her, millennia of accumulated knowledge filtering through her hybrid consciousness. "Yes," she said finally, her voice tinged with awe. "The precursors called it the chronosynaptic paradigm shift. It's a way to rewrite the fundamental code of reality itself, but it requires sacrifice." A heady silence fell over the bridge. Captain Chen stepped forward, his voice steady. "What kind of sacrifice?" Lyra's form coalesced into her Zirconian shape, her scales shimmering with ethereal light. To enact the paradigm shift, a being of sufficient complexity must merge with the tear itself. Their consciousness will become the framework for a new set of universal laws, stabilizing the damage and preventing further degradation of space-time. "But," she continued, her multiple hearts heavy, "the process is irreversible. Whoever merges with the tear will cease to exist as an individual, becoming one with the fabric of reality itself." The implications hung in the air, a weight pressing down on every soul aboard the Celestial Horizon. The fate of countless universes balanced against the life of one of their own. Captain Chen straightened his uniform, a look of grim resolve on his face. "I'll do it. As captain, it's my responsi." "No," Lyra interrupted, her voice firm. "It has to be me." Jack stepped forward, his hand reaching out to her. "Lyra, you can't. There has to be another way." Lyra's scaled hand intertwined with Jack's, a gesture that bridged the gap between their species. There isn't Jack. My hybrid nature, part zirconian, part energy being, makes me uniquely suited for this. And her voice softened. It's why I was meant to be here, with all of you. This is my destiny. Dr. Tanaka wiped a tear from her eye. How do we even begin to prepare for something like this? Lyra's form began to glow brighter, the knowledge of the cosmic codex flowing through her. The ship's biopsionic core can be reconfigured to generate a chronosynaptic field. It will allow me to interface directly with the tier. As the crew rushed to make the necessary modifications, an air of solemn determination settled over the celestial horizon. Each member worked with a fervor born of desperation and hope, knowing that the fate of all existence hung in the balance. Finally, the moment of truth arrived. The ship hovered at the edge of the chronosynaptic tear, reality fracturing around them in a dizzying display of temporal chaos. Lyra stood before the newly constructed interface, her form flickering between physical and energy states. She turned to face her crewmates, no, her friends, one last time. "Thank you," she said, her voice filled with emotion, "for showing me what it truly means to be alive, to be part of something greater than myself. Remember me not as I am now, but as a part of every star, every planet, every moment of wonder you'll encounter in your journeys." With tears in his eyes, Captain Chen saluted her. "Godspeed, Lyra Vex. The universe will never forget your sacrifice." Jack stepped forward, his voice choked with emotion. "Lyra, we." She smiled, understanding the words he couldn't say. "I know, Jack. I feel it too. In every possible reality." With one last look at her friends, Lyra turned and stepped into the chronosynaptic field. Her form blazed with impossible light as she merged with the ship's systems, her consciousness expanding to encompass the tear itself. The bridge of the celestial horizon was bathed in radiance as Lyra's being suffused the very fabric of space-time. The crew watched in awe as the fractures in reality began to heal, new laws of physics writing themselves into existence. In that moment, they glimpsed the infinite. Through Lyra's eyes, they saw the birth and death of galaxies, the dance of quarks and quasars, the delicate balance of forces that underpinned all of creation. And through it all, they felt her presence, not gone, but transformed, a guardian spirit woven into the very essence of the cosmos. As the light faded and the view screen cleared, the chronosynaptic tear was gone. In its place was a new nebula, swirling with colors beyond human comprehension. At its heart pulsed a star that seemed to sing with Lyra's voice, a beacon of hope in the vast expanse of space. Captain Chen broke the reverent silence, his voice thick with emotion. "Set a course, helm. There are wonders out there that Lyra sacrificed everything to preserve. Let's make sure her gift wasn't in vain." As the celestial horizon engaged its drives, the crew knew that they were no longer merely explorers. They were the custodians of a new cosmic order, charged with shepherding the universe that Lyra had given her existence to save. The chronosynaptic paradigm shift had rewritten the laws of reality, but it had also rewritten them. Human and Zirconian alike, they were now part of something greater, a legacy that would echo across eternity. And as they ventured forth into the unknown, they carried with them the memory of Lyra Vex, no longer just a Zirconian scout, but a cosmic legend, a guardian of realities, and a testament to the power of sacrifice and love that transcended the boundaries of species and spacetime itself. The adventure continued, with Lyra's spirit guiding them towards a future bright with infinite possibilities.